In this video, I will explain how to find the nth term of a decreasing sequence. So the way that we find the nth term of a decreasing sequence is we use this formula: a sub n is equal to d times n plus a sub 1 minus d. So let's take a look at a couple examples and see how we can apply this formula. So in this first example, we have the sequence 9, 7, 5, 3, 1. So we can tell that this is a decreasing sequence because each consecutive number is decreasing, or it's getting smaller. So we're asked to find the ninth term in this decreasing sequence. So we can use this formula up here to do so. We can say a sub n. So in this case, n is 9. It's the term that we're asked to find. A sub 9 is equal to d. So d is going to be the common difference between consecutive terms. So to find that, we just say, well, the first term in the sequence is 9. How can we get from 9 to the next number in the sequence, 7? Well, we would have to subtract 2. So to go from 9 to 7, we would say negative 2. How do we go from 7 to 5? Well, again, we would have to subtract 2. And to go from 5 to 3, subtract 2. And to go from 3 to 1, we subtract 2. So the common difference is negative 2. So that's the value that we'll use for d in this formula. So we'll say negative 2. Next, we need to multiply that by n. So again, n is 9. It's the ninth term that we're asked to find. And then we have plus a sub 1. So a sub 1 is just the first number in the sequence. So that's 9. So if we want to write it out, we would say this one is a sub 1 is 9. A sub 2 is the next number in the sequence, 7. Then we have a sub 3, a sub 4, a sub 5. So a sub 1, that's the first number in the sequence, so that's 9. So we'll write a 9 right here. And then we need to subtract d. So remember, we found d is negative 2. So that's minus a negative 2. And now we just need to simplify this formula. So we have a sub 9 is equal to negative 2 times 9 is negative 18. Plus, we get 9 minus a negative 2. That's the same as 9 plus 2. 9 plus 2. So we'll say a sub 9 is equal to negative 18 plus this 9 plus 2 right here, that's 11. So we have negative 18 plus 11. That would be negative 7. So that will be the ninth term in our sequence. And if we want to double check that that's correct, we could actually just continue writing out the numbers in the sequence if we want. So we said a sub 5, that's 1. A sub 6 would be 1 minus 2, that's negative 1. A sub 7 would be negative 1 minus 2, that would be negative 3. A sub 8 would be negative 3 minus 2, that's negative 5. And a sub 9 would be negative 5 minus 2, that's negative 7. And that matches the value that we found down here. So the ninth term in the sequence is negative 7. Okay, let's use this formula one more time for another example. We have the sequence negative 4, negative 7, negative 10, negative 13. And we're asked to find the seventh term in the sequence. So we'll use the exact same formula that we used earlier. We'll say a sub n, so in this case a sub 7, is equal to d. So d is the common difference between the terms, so let's find that common difference. To go from negative 4 to negative 7, what do we need to do? We need to subtract 3. To go from negative 7 to negative 10, we'd have to subtract 3. And to go from negative 10 to negative 13, we would also have to subtract 3. So we can see that our common difference is negative 3 in this example. So we'll write a sub 7 is equal to negative 3 multiplied by n, so n is 7 in this case, plus a sub 1. So remember, a sub 1 is just the first term in the sequence. That's negative 4. So we'll have negative 4 minus the common difference, which we found was negative 3. So let's go ahead and simplify. A sub 7 is equal to negative 3 times 7, that's negative 21, plus negative 4 minus negative 3. That's the same as negative 4 plus 3. So that's negative 1. So we would say that a sub 7 is equal to negative 21 plus a negative 1, that's negative 22. And if we want to double check that that's correct, we can continue writing out the sequence up here. So we'll say a sub 3, a sub 4, a sub 5 would be negative 13 minus 3. That's negative 16. A sub 6 would be negative 16 minus 3. That's negative 19. And a sub 7 would be negative 19 minus 3. That's negative 22. And that matches the number that we calculated using our formula. Thanks for watching, guys.